Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started because we're recording in the back of the room here, so we can have this recorded. So since I know everybody in the room pretty much, but for those who don't know, because I know there's a couple of faces here that I've seen around, I don't know if you know directly who I am. But I am Deanne McDaniel. I am the student activities coordinator as well as the athletic director. So a lot of the activities that you have seen if you've been here for a little while, so like we had the virtual reality games a few weeks ago, the welcome back picnic, those are things that come out of my office. So I'm going to just do a kind of a brief presentation about what student activities is, some of the clubs and activities that we have here at the school. And then if you have questions, we have a student ambassador as well as a student government representative in the room. If you have any questions for them, then they can answer. So we're just going to go through kind of what we have. So student activities, what student activities is and means is a little different than kind of what you have at the high school level. In high school, student activities are mostly, just your extracurricular activities. Here it includes that, but it also, we provide some your out of class learning. Is what we try to provide for you. So we not only provide the fun piece for it, we also try to make some of our activities so they're also educational but fun. So that's what my office does. So here's kind of some of the things that fall underneath those student activities. So I am the advisor for the Student Government Association. Myself and the Student Government Association also oversees all of the clubs and activities all of the student clubs and organizations that are here. We try to do monthly activities for you guys. We'll talk about some of those, and then I also offer movie tickets. So our Student Government Association for this year is, your SGA president sitting in the back there is Aaron Brown. Then Madeline Sullivan, who works in the CHOPS at the Register, she is your vice president. And then Andrew Fisher is the treasurer. Our secretary position is currently open. And what the student government here does is they are really your voice with the administration. So a lot of times when there's questions, concerns, ideas that you guys have, and it may be something that needs to go above what we are capable of doing, we go and sit with the president and our administration and bring those ideas to you. And in essence, if there's something that maybe the main VCCS, who's the governing body for all of our community colleges, if there's something they've done and we want to make sure that you guys know about it, it'll come from your SGA president to communicate that to you. So if there's a concern you have, I know it's been for a while, but it seems to have quieted down a little bit. Textbooks were a big thing. Those were some of the things that were brought to us. And at the same time that those were being brought to us, the VCCS was working on ways to solve those for you guys. So if there's any ideas or any things that you would like to see, we may not always be able to do it, right away, but we kind of keep those in our pockets and we look at what's coming down the road and we try to plan for them, because there's some things that we have done in the last year that you guys are probably not going to see for a little while, but they're starting to be put into the plans for things that are changing at the school. So here is a listing of all of our current active clubs and organizations here. The allied health clubs are specific to that program of study, so it's not like it's an open membership. So anybody that is in the respiratory radiology program, you are automatically a member of that club, and they do things specifically for your program, because there's 2 conferences that each of the organizations has to go to. But the main realm, the only other one is Phi Theta Kappa. That is by invitation only. That is after you have, I think it's a 3.0 group.
It's a 3.5.
Okay, so 3.5 is after your first year. So after your first year, you get an email inviting you to be a member of Phi Theta Kappa organization. They'll do an induction ceremony. I think they have one coming up in November. So you would go to that induction ceremony. That's how you become a member. There are dues that are paid, and they go to the national organization, but the national organization sends those dues back here for you guys to be used for your organization. And then if you've ever seen pictures from graduation, if you've seen anybody with the gold stole, that's a member of Phi Theta Kappa. And it's an honor society. So it is a nice honor to have.
It is.
The Polis Online Literary Journal is one that is not a physical club. They usually only really come up towards the end of the year, and that is if you are artistic, whether it's drawings, photography, poetry. They collect those submissions usually in the spring. The journal is only done online. They don't actually do it as print. They have a ceremony that they do. So if you are artistic in any form and would like to submit your stuff to go into that journal, you will see those emails come out. Any questions? So how to find you're on the website. If you go under Campus Life, Student Life, you'll see a listing of the clubs and organizations, and it's chopped off because it's a real long list. There's also sheets in the back Underneath the name of the organization, there are the advisors. If you click on the advisors' names, it gives you an email so that if you want to email them directly to find out when they're meeting and to let the advisors know that you're interested. One of the advisors, Dr. Chan, Professor Chan, is the advisor for Spanish Club. So if you were interested in Spanish Club and you hadn't seen a meeting, you could email him and he can let you know when the meeting was and who the president is. So we always keep the advisors' names on there because, as you guys know, you guys will come through and cycle through. So as we change students, it's easier to keep the advisors' names up here because they're kind of constant. So if you have an interest, that's how you can reach the list of clubs on our website. Another club that we have that has just started over the last year is our club baseball team. We have some members of our club baseball team in the room with us. We are members of the National Club Baseball Association. And that association is just strictly a club organization. It has 3 divisions in it as of this year. Schools like UVA, Lynchburg College, besides us. Help me out, guys, who else? JMU, so Bradford. So schools like that are members of it. So some of the school teams we played last year, our season does not officially start till the spring, but we do scrimmage games currently in the fall. Last weekend we played at Roanoke College. So you do play in the spring and the fall as well as the spring. The sport is growing here. We hope to see it continue to grow. We went with the club baseball route because it was just easier for us to do. There weren't some of the stringent guidelines that we had to follow compared to the NJCAA, which is the junior college league of the NCAA. And it seems to work out a lot better. And this year we think our division will expand, and we will play American, Howard, ODU, University of Richmond, North Carolina A&T seem to be the teams that we will play in the spring. So we'll start, as we get our schedule, we'll start posting that. This year we definitely would like to see more people come out. And once we get our home field situated, we'll let you guys know because it'll be one of the high schools that we'll use. It's just going to be based on their schedules. Games are always on the weekends, so. And if you know anybody that's interested in baseball, send them my way. Some of the monthly activities that Student Activities does, of course, like I said, is our Welcome Back Picnic. We do our student clubs and organizations fair. We will be sending out, I will send out the date today so that you guys can get on their schedule. We will be going to Kings Dominion again this year. That seems to be a really popular activity. Everybody liked last year, so we have brought that back again. I do the Student Appreciation Picnic at the end of the year. And then some of the activities that we try to bring in, like I said, the virtual reality games that we bring in from the company. And sometimes we've done a field day where we've just done some games and things out here on the quad.
Yeah, who can go to the Kids Dominion? Only the...
It's, so we do, how we do the pricing structures, we have a pricing for students, faculty, and staff. And then we have another price structure for non-CVCC students. So we let a CVCC student bring one or one friend, whether non or CVCC. And then some students have like the passes, like I think it's gold and platinum are the pass levels. So then we do another pricing for them. So it's just they're kind of contributing to the bus. SGA usually subsides the majority of the cost. So we just offer a reasonable price to the students so it covers a little bit of the bus and their ticket. So it's still, from what we figured last year, still comes out cheaper.
You're going to send an email to everybody?
Yeah, we're going to send an email. We just
Sorry.
that's
Don't
okay.
happen.
We just have been working out, finishing to work out the details. Buses are we're not sending things out. Yes, sir.
So how much of that you already
Last year we did it at about 20, so we'll probably keep it about that time. We're still working out the details, and we're just getting our buses confirmed. So we will send it out to you guys so we can start getting signups. I know I'm trying to get it out quickly because I know they're doing refunds. That's usually when a lot of people buy tickets right after you get your refund check. So that's why we're going to get those prices out to you guys so we get the save the date up for you guys. And then this year we're going on a Saturday, so we'll be up there a little bit longer. So we'll probably leave here about 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, so that gives you daytime park hours. And then I think it's 7 o'clock or dusk is usually when they start switching over to the Halloween part. And then I think we're staying until like 11, so we're gonna leave like an hour before the park closes. And a lot of people asked last year because they didn't want to spend the money in the park to eat. So we'll stop on the way home, so grab some fast food, get on the bus, and then make our way back here. So we probably won't get back till probably 1, 2 in the morning, but you'll still have a good portion of normal park hours and then the Halloween park hours that you can spend at the park. So we took about 30 students, I think it was last year. So,
Okay.
yeah. Movie tickets. So I do have movie tickets in my office. I don't need to know what movie you're going to see, what it is, and I should have brought one with me. It's just a blue like voucher coupon that I have. They are $8.50. I don't upcharge. That is exactly what the Regal Movie Theater charges me to get them. We just charge you what we pay for them just because we were kind of losing money. We were trying to offer you a discount, but we were losing money and a lot of money. And I couldn't justify going and asking for more money from the administrators if I'm losing money selling tickets. So we just made it the $8.50, which is what we pay for. I still, from what I understand, it's still cheaper than going and buying one at Regal.
11, 13.
Yeah.
Depending on like how if it's a new movie.
Yeah.
It just came out.
So with me, it doesn't matter. It can be whatever. The Regal hasn't restricted us. I keep them all year round. I've only had to limit the number of tickets you buy once, and that was when Star Wars came out after the hiatus, and I was selling crazy tickets for that. That's the only time I've limited, and I usually limit it to 5, but other times I'm pretty lenient as long as there's not a popular movie out. The unfortunate thing is, and one day maybe we'll get this, I'm trying to get it so I get a machine so you don't have to use cash, but right now it's just cash and your student ID is what you need, and I always have change, so, and I keep them year round, so I'll have students that'll come get them in the summertime as long as you're an active student here, so. So come on by my office and grab your tickets. So a way to know about the activities other than my weekly emails that I send out to everybody, and this week I did not send one out because I was waiting on the King's Dominion stuff, so now that we have that, I'll send out an email. But if you go onto the CVCC main website, and if you scroll down to the bottom, the first box on the left-hand side, unless they change it, says campus events, I believe it says. It has a picture from when we were all out looking at the eclipse, the solar eclipse that day. If you click on it, it'll bring you up to the event calendar, and this is where all events are listed. I'm working on getting the rest of the year put in, but I try to have all of our events here, and if you click on the event, it'll open up, and it'll give you a brief description about the event, the location, and the time. So if you're ever wondering some of the things that are happening on campus, and it's not just student activities events, it's anything on campus that we think that would be appealing to you guys, plus it's anything if we sponsor something off campus, so like the King's Dominion trip, or I'm also on the Culture Diversity Committee, so we have trips to Washington, D.C., and we'll go to the museums in Richmond and things like that. Those things will be on the calendar so that you can see where those activities are and you can plan for those. Like we do often have tickets to the American Theater in downtown Lynchburg. Those things will be up there. So anytime and it doesn't matter whether it's student activities, culture diversity, anything that we think will appeal to you guys that is sponsored by the school will be on this calendar. So if you just, that's a good place to check if you're trying to see what's happening or you want to know things that are coming down the line. Like I said, everybody's been a little kind of slow at planning things this year because I think we're all just so busy. So events are slowly trickling in. So as I get them, I've been trying to post them and keep the calendar up to date. So that's a good place to go. And if you're not the little box on the front, if you go under Campus Life, there's a chart that's right on that main page, and it says event calendar. So you can click on there, and that will give you the event calendar that you see right here. Another place that you can find out about events happening is on the CVCC Facebook page. We have combined all of our Facebook pages if you've been here for a while. Before we had a Facebook page for student activities, we had one for main CVCC, counseling had one. So right now we just have one Facebook page, and that's a lot of times where we'll post events is up there. And sometimes if it's a big event like our job fairs and our transfer fairs that are coming up, I'll create a Facebook event and post it up there so I can also add it to the event calendar on the website. So that's another location. And I didn't bring with me, and I can look up and tell you, if you're on Instagram, we're also on Instagram, so we have an Instagram account. I haven't been using that as much, but I'm going to start advertising things on there as well. So if you're on Instagram, we have Instagram as well. And then that's who I am. So what else I wanted to talk to you about, but I don't need to tell you guys because you guys are all, I'm sure, very good at it, is making friends, doing connections. We have some student ambassadors and SGA in here. If anybody had questions about those programs, you can ask them. The student ambassador program is exactly what it sounds like. What they do is they'll help with the tours when the high school students come here. They go out and represent CVCC in the community for certain things. They'll help also SGA with activities when we sponsor activities at the school. and there's a scholarship involved in being a participant of the student ambassadors. And with that scholarship, you're also required to do community service hours as part of your commitment to being a student ambassador. Student Government Association is an elected position. We do elections in the spring, usually for the 4 positions, because we should have a secretary, but we don't have one just yet. There is a scholarship involved with that. You are required to do 60 hours of community service. My community service is a little bit different than what you would as a student ambassador, because as SGA, we want them to get out into the community, working, not just doing tours, but working directly with the kids. So a lot of times we have ones that lead school groups at their churches and things, or Cub Scouts, so that they're working with students and the children in the community. So we try to get them involved that way. But you do have a 60-hour community service commitment that we asked you to do as well for that, in addition because of your scholarship you're receiving. Does anybody have any questions about activities or anything you want to ask the ambassadors that are in the room, or we have our baseball players in the room, those that aren't, the couple that aren't playing baseball or anything? Do you have any questions?
What's happening with those 3 pages in Facebook that you have? Which one is the real one?
So the other 2 are gone. You should no longer be able to see student activities or counseling. You should only see that 1 page that I showed. The other 2 are because they were there still for a while, but when I went on there the other day, they're completely gone. So it's just that as long as you see that, yeah, as long as you see that.
The black logo?
Yeah,
Okay.
that should be the official one that's up there. Yes. And I did order pizza, so it should be here anytime. I'm just waiting for them to bring it to us.
Do they gonna have a club day pretty soon?
Yes, we were planning to do one next Wednesday, and your president actually pointed out that it's the health services thing that I totally didn't realize. I should have just told, so I told her we're going to regroup and look at the data. And yeah, we'll probably wait down until after fall break and do something after fall break, because I totally forgot that we had moved that that health fair. We moved it a couple of times, so the dates, that one wasn't stuck in my brain very well, so we'll do it after we come back. So yeah, but we'll be getting out to you guys your request for money.
That's what I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, because we're still getting direction on that. So as you know, we've changed our policies, so we haven't gotten clear direction on what is happening with the finances. So it's kind of a day-by-day thing that we wait for. So we're going by the latest information that we have that we'll disseminate out to you guys. But yeah, I told her we would take care of this weekend. So.
All right, I have a question. This coming weekend, we're going to the Latino Festival in Roanoke.
Yep, she and I met up like literally before we came in here, so she's gonna come see me tomorrow so we can get that taken care of.
So activities like that, I would like everybody to know because it's free for the public, but how can we announce it?
If you send me an email with the details, yeah, I could, because like I said, I'm gonna send out an email today, or I can wait till the morning, but if you can get it to me, between today and tomorrow morning, I'll wait and send out an email to the students, and I can include it in there.
I will do that. And second thing, we also in the Spanish Club have movies all the time, not necessarily in Spanish, but related to language and culture. And I invite the community. Last year, one of the persons in the college said that we don't have the permission because it's a film. But I've been doing it for 11 years, so I don't see that as an issue, right?
So technically, when you show a movie in your classroom, if it is not a class-related activity, you're supposed to have a public performing license for it, as long as it's copyrighted. If it's something that you've gotten from the library, they may have a public viewing license. Just verify that that movie does have a public viewing license on it. I have not heard in all the studies I've done that community colleges have been hit. I know when I was at UVA, we had been hit a couple of times with a fine, and the fine is very hefty. That's why I'm stringent on it, because it's a $25,000 fine, and it can be higher than that if you are hit, if you're caught showing a movie without the license, because it's a federal law.
Oh.
So yeah, if it's someone, if you've gotten from the library, just verify, yeah. But if you go to Blockbuster, and I'm just going to use it.
Yes.
Okay, so if you went to Redbox and rented it, you are not allowed to show that in here. What you need to go to, there's several companies that do it, purchase the license from them to be able to show it to you.
But that was the issue because the movies we show here is only from the library. Of course.
Okay. Yeah, no, there were some other ones that were being shown that weren't from the library. People were going to Redbox and renting a movie and showing them. So that was where the issue was coming in. So yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna continue doing, and I'm gonna email you, so everybody's welcome to watch it with us.
Yeah, like I said, as long as you're getting it from the library, just verify that that Mike and them have bought the public viewing license with it, and then we should be okay. I just always get nervous when we put it on Facebook, and because that's how they're finding out about them, is they're picking them up off of Facebook, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's how the one at UVA, they were found out, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, and that was literally how that somebody threw it up there, and I got the phone call. That and the NFL were the two big ones I got dinged for when I was, well, I didn't personally, but I had to deal with when I was at UVA, was doing a watch viewing party for the Super Bowl, because that's not permitted.
It's not allowed in public?
You have to pay a certain license with your cable company. That's how the bars show it. There's a certain license that they get from their cable companies to be able to show it in their bars. And as schools, we don't pay that license normally. Yeah, so that's why I don't deal with it. NCAA is another one. It's an even bigger one, because UVA was, oh, we were in it, we should be. Yeah, I was like, no. No. And they were coming to the school. I was like, definitely not, because they were doing like game day or something at the school. I was like, yeah, no, we don't need to get caught. So that's I have a right, you have to pay. So yeah, I'll turn it on. We can turn it on out there, but I can't, like, student activities couldn't throw a viewing party unless we got permissions and all this other stuff. So that's why you'll never see me throw one. Yeah. I mean, the NFL, I think, is the worst, because their rules go all the way down to you being in your home, the way you have your TV position. If you have a position that I'm walking past your house and I can see in your house and I can see the game, you can get fined.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because if I'm a public person walking past your house and I can view it. Yeah, it's crazy. It is. Theirs are kind of the because it started. Yeah, when they went out with the church, they had a huge fight with the church several years ago. And they finally got it relaxed a little bit, but that's how it really started. It was a church that was having a viewing party. That's how it really bad. Yeah, they're.
I got like a, if they, TV and
apparently they're worried.
they
They're
fall
very
back, you
strict
can,
about
hey,
it.
look,
Yeah.
So I can't watch the game.
Oh, you can.
You can, but you couldn't. Yeah, the laws are crazy. And I doubt you have any NFL promo that will say that, because you
Like,
never
if you were
know.
watching
So.
on your
So
porch,
that's LA.
and someone walking behind you,
You
the TV,
easily
you
walk-
can see the TV.
Yeah.
Sidewalk, we look at it,
Watch
somebody's
wrong.
house.
Yeah, it's.
You find it.
That's what I'm saying.
Woo, we got smacked.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I went to junior college, and they had the movie Wonder Woman, the new
Yep.
one, and it was for everybody.
Yeah, so so they got it through Swank, or one of those companies, and that's how they got those movies.
And they got the license to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we've done them here, is we get them from, I think it's Swank is where we usually get them from, and that's how we show them here.
So for example, if I wanna do that, maybe I can contact you and we can watch the movie through that company instead of the library.
Yeah, so the licenses can anywhere be from $200 to
Oh.
$500. So they're
Oh,
not-
a month or what do they pay?
But just for one movie?
Yes, that's per movie.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
that's too much, right?
It's per movie, and it just depends on the movie. And some movies, like several years ago, and I can never remember the name of the movie, I think it was not Schindler's List. There was some movie out that won several awards several years ago, and that was one of the ones when we found out we were able to contact the production company directly, and because of us being at college, they gave us the permission to do a viewing party with it. So some things you can do without purchasing a license, it just depends on the movie and the production company. So, yeah, it just really depends. Like if I want to do Hidden Figures, I'm gonna have to pay, I think it's $300 to do like.
Oh,
Hidden
really?
Figures. Yeah, because I already looked into that one, so
You're
it's like
requesting?
$300, yeah, to do Hidden Figures, yep.
So is that camera on?
It's still on my house.
Oh.
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry,
You still have to, yes.
That's new.
If it's copyrighted, you still have to
That's
get
crazy.
a public viewing license.
Right.
If I show it and it's not class related and I'm not doing a classroom discussion on it, I have to buy a public.
Wait. What if you watching Dora?
Um,
You gotta pay for that too?
If you're doing it outside of the classroom, so like if Professor Chan had it in his class and he was using it as part of his Spanish class lesson, then it would be considered part of his lesson. But if I was showing it to you guys and we weren't having any discussions about anything, yes, I have to pay the license for it.
For watching Dora.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm like saying, hey, if I'm saying, hey, CVCC campus, come watch Dora, yeah, I have to pay them.
What about the TVs in here?
That's different, we have a license to be able to show the TV and the students that are that way. But I'm not advertising, we're gonna sit here and show this movie that day.
But
It's
we're
very
not
different.
showing anything.
Huh?
It really doesn't show anything.
What?
The TVs. Oh, I mean, they showed this, but they don't really show anything. So why is there a license for that?
Oh, you talking about the TV in the student center that plays like, the news and stuff like
Yes,
that?
we have a
It's no
business,
movie.
specific, yeah, we have a specific business license
Yeah.
to do that.
You're
And I don't
not the one that-
advertise, come to the student center, let's
We're
watch.
gonna watch Wendy Williams.
Yeah,
show.
Wendy Williams show, 2 8 to 10, I know, it's the TV on, it's there. Yeah, there's a license that we bought through Comcast. There's a specific license that we buy so we can have the TV out there.
That's great.
Yeah, we have to buy a specific license for that.
Look up the people and stuff, they play Madden and stuff.
So that's a little bit different, but there are some licensing things with that you have, if you're doing tournaments and things, yeah.
Man.
How much you got?
Oh, so,
How
man, how much would that be? Cause we got mad up and I've been there all day.
We've talked
How
about
about the
it.
people in the cafeteria then?
So they brought their own systems in and they're back there, but they haven't advertised, they're just back there doing it themselves.
They
So I can
bring
be back
in
there.
PS4s, Xbox.
So if I got my TV, so I have
a
set a
TV,
with
like,
my sister.
like a little TV, and I bring my P4, and I, my controller and everything, and I play like 2K. Just,
You're
That's
fine,
right.
because you're fine,
But if
yeah.
you hook it up to the TV, you gotta pay.
No, and so if he said to me, hey Deanne, I wanna do a tournament, then we would have to do the proper things to be able to play to do a tournament. So that's one of the things for the games club that I really
Let's do
get
that.
to. Yeah.
If he has a P4, you already know people will come over there.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's one thing, because it's not advertised. Again, it's not, I'm not saying, hey, everybody, come to this tournament. It's, he's bought it in his system, him and his friends are sitting over in the corner playing the game. And
So
he's
it's
having,
gonna be millions
like what
of
they do
friends
back there now,
playing.
so.
Video
So
games,
as long as we don't
video
really
games
post on
turn
Facebook that we're doing it, we're fine.
Yep.
That's what we need to do. That's what I know.
Good.
No, I've been looking into some
What?
stuff with the games club for a while.
So, like, we just start like a video game club, where we just have a tournament each week.
Hey, Aaron, can you do me a favor? Can you walk down to counseling and see?
Be like
other
2K,
places where
Yeah,
we're-
you got like-
2K, Madden,
Yes.
one
got
week.
P4,
Upper crust,
Xbox,
puzzle
You know what I'm
versus
saying?
three.
Like 2K,
Yeah.
like every week.
All right, I'm trying to do TVs.
Yeah, like I said, I've been looking into some things for the games club, so we can do a tournament for them, so. There's a couple of companies actually I've been looking at, so. So we can bring in, so they have the bigger screens, so that, because we don't have them here, that we can do it, so.
Sled.
Yeah.
So,